When the doubt gets loud, but answer that call. Vision ain't real till you grind at speed, so breathing deep. Then call the damn leads. Call the damn leads.
Hey, welcome back to Call the Damn Leads, the show by sales professionals for sales professionals. I'm your host, Drewbie Wilson. With more than 2 decades in sales, I've seen it, been through it, heard about it. Now I'm bringing those stories to you, my favorite people in the world, the sales community, because let's be honest, this is the greatest show on earth. It doesn't matter where you come from, what background, what personality type, you can create an amazing life in sales. And today's guest is no stranger to the journey. I'd like to welcome Jason Bowen to the show. How are you, sir?
Yeah, good, Drewbie. Thanks for having me on, man. Excited just to share a little bit, and yeah, just grateful to be here, man. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. I want to jump right in. I want to hear your craziest sales stories.
Yeah, crazy sales story, man. I've got over a dozen companies, and so over the years we've had a lot of different stuff going on, mainly in the blue collar space. But sales, I'd have to go way back when I kind of cut my teeth early on. We were doing door to door type sales. I worked for ADT selling home alarms, and I worked for True Green Chemlawn selling lawn and tree shrub care, that kind of thing. And honestly, man, like I kind of racked my brain a little bit, but the craziest ones are the ones you walk up to the door and, you know, somebody walks up to the door and asks what you're doing there, carrying an AR or a pistol or something like that. I don't have anything too crazy on the sales side, but I'll give you an employee story just because I've had the privilege of having 500, 600, 700 employees over the last several years, 5-10 years or so. And so we had an account with a large shoe company, something that most of you guys wear on a regular basis. And we were actually guiding traffic. So we had a traffic control company. If you guys have seen the stop slow paddle guys on the side of the road with the road work ahead, that kind of thing, guiding traffic in and out of their parking lot because it was just a massive facility. And we had one of our flaggers show up one day, and she was going to be flagging in and out of the parking lot for this large conglomerate shoe company. And she was wearing this hat, and this hat was a phallic hat on top of her head. And not only was she wearing this hat, but she decided to use it as a flag to flag the people coming in and out of the facility in which direction they should go. And so we got a nice stern talking to, and my business partner at the time, kudos to him, he walked in and basically said, "Hey, our bad, we suck. We won't do it again. We'll be better in the future." And we kept the account, but my word, man, employees are something to deal with. So.
Okay, I got so many questions.
Yeah.
First of all, was it phallic shaped or phallic like embroidered, or like was there a picture of a phallic shape on there?
Yeah, that's a fair question, and it was actually shaped with not just the phallic, but the adjacent to. Yep. Yeah, and so that was, if you can imagine leaving a multi-$100 billion sneaker facility and utilizing that to guide people in and out of the parking lot. It was rough. It was a hard couple of days there. So,
second question, just because I gotta know, was the event specific to a certain crowd of individuals by chance?
Meaning male, female, or mean?
Yeah, well, those who might enjoy that sort of phallic cap as a flair, if you will.
Yeah, I think. Look, in the blue collar space, I would have a hard time saying that things like that don't just happen. If anybody's been in the blue collar space, employees think of all kinds of stuff, and they think it's normal, and so. Yes, normal to them, not normal to the high level execs coming in and out of this parking lot. So,
all right, I can tell this is going to be a great show already. So I'm super excited because here's one of the things that I will personally say for myself over the years of being in an entrepreneurial space and like managing people, people be peopling. And so for those of our listeners who are in that position that it's like, okay, I've been the main salesperson for everything for a while now. I know I need to start hiring and delegating. Two-part question. First, do you think sales is the first person that you hire? I'll hold it there.
Yeah. Depending on the business, look, like sales is fundamental in any type of business that you're trying to scale. If you don't have jobs, increasing jobs, if you don't have backlog on jobs, then you're going to struggle, right? I mean, cash flow is king when it comes to any type of business. And so a sales guy is important. A lot of time that falls on the founder, right? So in my case, several different businesses, over 20 different businesses over the last 20 years. And a lot of times it falls on me to go out and get the sales and get the leads, right? So a salesperson is fundamental. Is that your very first hire? I think it largely depends on the type of business, but yeah.
That's a great answer. Thank you. I appreciate you being transparent about that. Second
For
part,
sure.
if we are hiring sales, do you go for someone who's no sales experience or previous sales experience?
Yeah. And again, another good question. I think, again, it really depends on what you're trying to do. I think there's something to be said with if you're a founder and you're bringing somebody in that you really want to train up from the ground up. You don't want them to come in with bad habits. You don't want them to come in with preconceived notions on how they're going to sell somebody or bring somebody over the edge. Then you might want somebody that's a little more green, and you just take them through the stuff. You do role playing, you do all the stuff to get them to exactly what you want them to be. If you're bringing in on the opposite of that, if you're bringing in somebody with experience and they've got a ton of experience and they just know how to sell, look, I mean, that in a lot of ways can be a shortcut, right? I mean, they're coming in, you give them the product. If they've got a little bit of understanding of what that product is, even if they don't, and you can give them that product experience and then just say, hey, go do your thing, then that's awesome. And look, there's a ton of guys out there like that. You deal with them all the time. You're interviewing them all the time. And so those kind of guys honestly can step into, I really value those guys personally. Those kind of guys can step into almost any situation. You give them a little bit of background on what they're selling, what they're doing, and they're going to go out and crush it. And so again, kind of depends on what you're trying to build, but there's two different ways you can run there.
No, I appreciate that because it's always, this is what I love about sales, is there's no real right or wrong way to do any of this stuff. I mean, there's clearly wrong ways, like wearing a phallic shaped hat. Like, probably don't want to do that to a sales meeting, but
yeah,
you might be selling to the wrong crowd. That's about, who's your audience? Who are you getting in front of? Like,
that's it. Yeah, that's it.
So, man, you've built all these companies. Let me ask you this, because I think this is something that a lot of sales guys can get distracted by. They hear a guy like you. Hey, man, he's crushing it. He's got 20 companies. He's got to be living the life. Obviously millionaires have 7 streams of income. Is that something that you subscribe to?
The multiple streams of income part?
Yes.
Or, yeah.
The cliche of like all millionaires have multiple streams of income.
Sure. Yeah. Look, I think there's something to be said with it, right? When you look at business in general, if you have one stream of income, let's say that all you touch is real estate, right? And you've got a big real estate portfolio and you're growing it and building it and you're crushing it, got lots of cash flow, all these kind of things. But the market tanks, right? Like 2008 or whatever. And all of a sudden real estate, the whole bottom comes out from under it. You can't sell a house, rents are going down, all that kind of stuff. What happens to your source of income, right? It disappears fairly quickly. And so my argument to the multiple streams of income and why I would say millionaires have multiple streams of income is because of those exact scenarios. I mean, if you can, within business or within whatever your niche is, right? If you can, within business, have multiple streams and diversify in a sense to where, like for myself, I have some real estate, I have operational businesses, we have construction, we have underground utility, there's a bunch of different stuff that we have. And so if at any point real estate tanks, I'm still okay because I have these other streams of income, right? Or vice versa. If construction tanks or something like that, I'm still okay because I'm still doing good on the real estate side. So the multiple streams of income thing it's a powerful play. And the sooner you can get into it, the better it is. I'm a big proponent of the adjacent streams of income. And so if you're in real estate, right, what adjacent stream of income could you add to your current real estate portfolio to diversify, right? And so for myself, we had underground utility construction companies for years. So we'd put in the underground fiber optics for CenturyLink and Lumen and AT&T, Comcast, all those kind of guys. And so as we're doing that, every day we're hiring traffic control, right, to shut down a lane or a road of traffic because we got to get into the road and dig it up and all that. And we'd hire fiber splicers to splice the fiber in the building. And we'd hire concrete and asphalt guys to repair the asphalt and concrete in the road after we're done, right? So there's all these guys that we would hire on a regular basis. Well, over the course of 5 or so years, I just started adding all those adjacent verticals, right? These other businesses that still touched my same niche, right? But allowed me to take my pie and make it bigger, a lot bigger in a lot of ways, and really become turnkey for some of these companies that we were working for. So those are big keys in my opinion.
Yeah, that was really well explained, and I appreciate how you added the part at the end about being adjacent. I've always
Hmm.
used the term like vertically integrated, but
Yeah,
adjacent's another great way. And the
yeah,
reason I asked this question because I do have a follow up. Um, I agree with you. It's really easy to have all your eggs in one basket and have the basket topple over. I've had
uh
it personally happen. You've probably at one point in your journey had it happen. I mean, anyone
for
who's
sure.
reached a certain peak understands how quickly the tides can turn
Yep.
in that scenario. That said, there are a lot of people out there that are barely making six figures that are distracting themselves with multiple shiny objects. And so my follow-up question is, at what point do you realistically think that it makes sense to start exploring those adjacent opportunities?
Yeah. Again, great question, man. I think that the reality is that it's important to get your main niche, your main line of business at a to establish a good foundation where it's running properly. You've got good kind of checks and balances in place. You are profitable. You're creating cash flow. Because a lot of times, look, if you go to start an adjacent vertical, it's going to cost you money. It's not like you're going to jump into it and you're profitable overnight, right? And so you
It would
have
be
to.
nice.
It would be nice, but it's usually not the case. Most of the time, you lose money for the first 6 months to a year or more, right? So
Mm.
I think it's important to establish yourself in whatever your niche is. So, again, whether you're in sales or plumbing, electrical, HVAC, construction, whatever it is, like establish that piece of your business in a really strong way. And then the other piece I would say is like find somebody that, as you're looking at this adjacent vertical, is really like a support to you. So if you're
Mm.
having to start up another business, like essentially a startup, and really scale that business while you're trying to run this other one, there's going to be stuff that breaks, right? One of the questions I ask people that I coach a lot is, if you overnight, right, let's say tomorrow, your business doubled in size, where do you break? Because you're breaking somewhere. Like somewhere in your organization, you're breaking. I don't care whether it's your invoicing or you forget
Always.
to pay your taxes or insurance or your payroll or whatever. Like somewhere you're going to break. And you, even it might be just be you personally. Like it might push you over the top where you're like, man, I don't have capacity for this. And I just put myself in a bad spot. So you have to look at like, okay, I'm going to jump into this adjacent vertical, but do I have a foundation strong enough? And then even do I have somebody that's going to help pick up when I have to pivot over here and spend more time? Because this is inevitably going to take you more time. And so you've really got to have those two pieces kind of in place, foundational, and then have somebody in line, even if it's an employee, in line with you that's going to help you take it over the hump, over the edge.
Yeah, I love the way you put that out there. I've always a laugh because there's a Ron Swanson quote. I don't know if you watch The Office at all or Parks
Yeah,
and Rec, but it
sure.
was like he's like, you can't ride two horses with one ass. And
Yeah.
I use this a lot when I'm talking to entrepreneurs because I'm like,
Yeah.
listen, you are the main operator in this business. The moment you take your eyes off of the road over here to go over there, you're
Yeah.
gonna hit the wall. Like
Yeah.
it happens every single time. Again, let me tell you from personal experience how quickly that
Yeah.
you will hit the wall if you're not paying attention. And
Yeah.
and so I appreciate how you broke that down because it's so easy for people to see, oh well, I'm in real estate, but then
Hmm.
I see like these guys got insurance licenses, so I'm getting an insurance license too, and it's like
Yeah.
yeah, but you're not even selling three or four homes a month, let alone like anything that's going to be able to afford the capital to start another vertical, and it's
Yeah.
so interesting to me how hard people will fight to have a $50,000 a year job instead of like just focusing in on making that 6 or 7 figure a year job. And I'm
Yeah.
curious, is that something that you've experienced over the years, like working with people?
Oh, oh, for sure, man. I mean, I even personally, right? Like I've had 26 different companies, but I could tell you 5 or 6 of stories of those companies failing, right? Like I've got 5 or 6 that have absolutely failed, and at my fault, right? Because I pivoted into something that I wasn't ready for, or the market wasn't ready for, or whatever it is. So, along with the success, right, that we all chase after, there's always failures, right? And for me, it's I don't look at them as much as failures as just like lessons, right? I've learned a lot of lessons through those things that I can now carry forward with all the other things that I do. But yeah, even within partnerships, like I'm big on partnerships. A lot of my with the, you know, bunch of companies that we have, I have probably half or more of them I have partnerships, and so that I can offset the load that so I don't have to carry the entire thing, right?
Mm.
And I can keep chasing after the other stuff that's in front of me. So I'm big on just sharing that. For me, it's a multiplication factor. If I can find somebody alongside of me that will come along and I can give a little bit of equity to, I don't know, it doesn't have to be 50-50. I can give them 5% of a company or something like that, but
Sure.
it's theirs. They're an owner, right? And so I can offset that load, the weight onto them as I chase some of these other things. That makes a ton of sense, man. It multiplies everything that I'm doing by putting that on them also. So
I love that. So I many years ago read Rocket Fuel by Gino Wickman. You familiar with
yeah,
the book?
yeah.
So for those of you that
EOS.
haven't, yes. So EOS
Hmm.
and the EOS structure, I think that process can be really good in a business of the right size. Of there's a
Yeah.
whole side of that.
Hmm.
But more importantly, what I want to touch on is the visionary integrator side. So for those
Yeah.
of you who are listening, if you haven't read that book and you're trying to build a company, go read. I think it's Traction and Rocket
Traction.
Fuel. Both of them, yeah,
Yep.
both of them are pretty solid. I think Rocket Fuel is the visionary integrator focused one. But the
Yep.
point of this is, long story short, there's visionaries, people that see the big like idea people, and then there's the
Hmm.
integrators, the guys that actually build the stuff that make it all come to life. Which one
Yeah.
are you, out of curiosity?
Yeah. This is something that I've honestly I've struggled with, if I'm honest, because I want to feel like I'm more involved with stuff, and but I'm not. I'm the visionary. Like
Okay.
I am the guy that's constantly chasing after the next thing. Hey, how can we take this company and double it, you know, overnight? How can we jump into another state? How can we jump into another municipality, whatever it might be? And so I am typically the visionary. But what I've had to learn is because I'm so heavily focused there, I have to surround myself with integrators. So honestly, 80% of my partners and my high level executive staff with all these different companies, they're integrators. And I
Mm.
get to thank God for them because I get to continue chasing after the stuff that's in front of me. I've got we look at 2 to 3 new companies every month for acquisition, and I get to run after that type of stuff on a regular basis because I have people like right beside me and behind me and with me in the ownership structure that will take something that I'm like, okay, we're going to run after this one. And they're going to come back through and they're going to go through legal and they're going to go through diligence and they're going to go through all the different things that come with an acquisition or come with an adjacent vertical or whatever it is. And they're going to help make that thing happen. So I'm definitely a visionary and owning that more and more as the days go on, as I get older. So
I appreciate you being vulnerable enough to share that. It's one of those
yeah,
things that it is a weird perspective when you start to see how it all works together in the bigger overarching machine.
yeah,
And the follow up that I have to that is, if I remember correctly, the statistic is it's like 80% of the world is visionary and 20% is actually integrators. And I could be mistaken there, but it was a
I,
pretty widespread,
yeah,
um, which makes it difficult to find high quality integrators.
hmm,
And one of the things that I have personally experienced, because I'm an integrator at heart, like I love to build stuff.
yeah,
I've
that's
had to
awesome.
go the opposite side. I've had to learn to be more visionary and to step into that limelight where I'd rather just hang out
Mm,
and build nerdy stuff. Like,
sure.
so very interesting getting to have these conversations with guys like you.
Yeah, yeah,
So where I'm going with that though is when a visionary hires an integrator, part of what they're required to do is let go of control of all the things they've had to be the integrator on, which can
yeah.
be a very difficult process. Is that something you experienced?
Oh, for sure, man. Look, like it's hard, especially if it's something that has been like almost like your baby, right? Like if
Mm,
you started a company like one and you've built it and grown it and you're 6 figures, 7 figures, whatever you are, and that thing is like it's yours. It's like your child, you know? And to give kind of the operations and the day-to-day to somebody that honestly in a lot of ways, and this is what I've had to learn, honestly in a lot of ways they do it better than I would. if I allow them to, right? And that's a humbling thing, right? It's like, okay, if I bring this guy in, he's actually going to do it better than I am if I take the reins off and let him go. That's a hard thing to own. So you're both letting go of something that's your baby, and not that I'm not involved, right? I'm still involved on a regular basis,
Sure.
but I'm not in the day to day. So I'm letting go of my baby, and I'm also asking somebody else to build it, right? And I'm having to then step away and go, okay, I got to now focus on the next thing or the big thing, or how do we scale this company to the next level or an exit or whatever it might be. And so it's a hard shift. Again, something I'm continuing to learn, man, because I know that I'm way more visionary, and I know that I have to have those integrators around me. And so for me, man, I'm constantly taking meetings with guys that have either exited or gotten a golden parachute where they got some exit from some company or whatever it might be. I'm taking those meetings on a regular basis with those kind of guys because I know I need to continue, especially as I look at acquiring more companies, I need to continue surrounding myself with those kind of guys. Otherwise, these businesses have a cap. They're going to hit a ceiling with me as the integrator, as the guy that runs it. Because I can step in and integrate for a season,
Sure.
but it's going to hit a ceiling. And so I'm constantly meeting with those guys that are going to come around me and help me scale and push to that next level.
I love that. I appreciate you taking that extra little add on there, because I was going to ask you,
Mhm.
for those that are listening right now and realizing I need a high quality integrator slash operator,
Yeah.
because they are few and far between. Like, there's a lot of us out there, but not everybody operates at the level that will get you to where you're trying to go versus
Yeah.
where you are. So,
Hmm.
what are like one or two things that you look for? I know you mentioned guys that have made an exit or had a golden parachute, and those guys are
Hmm.
still, they're out there, but less than normal.
Yeah.
So
Much
as
harder to
you're
find.
starting, yeah, much harder to find. So like as you're starting that, what are one or two like maybe not features, what's the word I'm looking for?
Characteristics.
Characteristics, that's the word. Thank you, sir.
I
That
got
that
you.
you're looking for in guys that like you say, "Hey, I want to have a meeting and see if they might be a fit."
Yeah, for sure. I think it's knowing what you're skilled at and what you're not skilled at. So me personally, like I can read a P&L sheet, I can read a balance sheet, I can get into the books and stuff like that. But it's not my thing. Like I don't like spreadsheets. I don't like looking at the numbers, all that kind of stuff. And so
Okay.
for me, like I need to know them because if I'm going to scale, I need to know where and how I can scale. But for me, like financially, I don't want to be that guy. And so I'm constantly looking for people that are better than I am at the things that I'm just not good at, right? I know my limitations. And so, financially, operationally, CEO, CTO, what tech guy, whatever it is, those things that I'm maybe not as good as I should be, especially if I want to scale a, 6, 7, 8 figure business, I'm looking for those kind of guys. And so if I run into somebody, I don't care where they are, right? If I run into somebody at a restaurant or something like that, and they, through some kind of networking meeting or something like that, and they're high level finance, high level, integrator within finance, and they understand P&Ls and building a performa, and they understand, all those kind of things. Those are the guys that I'm going to try and connect with and continue to have some type of just a relationship with, so that as another business pops up and I go, oh man, this business that I'm looking at right here, they really need a high level CFO, right? That's not me. I'm not stepping into that role. And so I have to then turn to my network and go, okay, that guy that I met, John, at that networking meeting 6 months ago or a year ago, I'm going to call him up and see if he's still available, right? And I'll call him up. Hey man, I got this opportunity. Would you be interested in maybe showing up and seeing what this business looks like? And I think they really need a high level CFO finance type person, and I'd like to bring you in. And then again, as I've said before, I'll entertain like giving up some equity if it's the right person, right? And it might not be right away. They might need to prove themselves 6 months, a year, something like that. But I'll give them a little piece because now they're doing something that I know I'm not great at, and that allows me to focus on what I am really good at, so that I can scale that company.
That is absolutely brilliant. And we could probably sit here and nerd out on this for many hours because I love your
We
style.
could.
I know this is just like the tip of the iceberg of what you can share with our listeners. So,
Sure.
how do we come find you, follow you, check out more of your content?
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. So I'm currently like recently, so I haven't been doing this for too long, but back in like December, I really leaned into social media and stuff like that. I've always been I don't like being the guy, if I'm just plain and honest. Like this is,
Sure.
I've only done a couple of podcasts. This is odd for me, but I'm happy to share my story and happy to share, the things that I've walked through. So for me, leaning into social media and stuff like that's been new, but I've been on a couple of podcasts and stuff. And then social media wise, LinkedIn and Facebook, it's just Jason Bowen. And then Instagram is Blue Collar Bowen. And it's just kind of, I share stories about business and faith and family and just kind of all the stuff, successes and failures, like all of it. Like I'm kind of vulnerable in that way, man. I'm not some guru or some special guy. Like I'll just share all of it. And then if something hits, then it hits. Right. So, it's been a pretty cool, just last couple of months, just being able to share and people really connecting with it. So those are kind of the three main pieces. And then we have a nonprofit that we've just established. It's called Impact Legacy, and it's really walking people through the concept of, hey, we're all chasing after money, right? Like we're all trying to have that exit or that success, the $1 billion, the planes, the cars, whatever it is, right? But what we're trying to do is build almost a platform where people can think that the tagline is purpose beyond profit. And so, hey, great, you made your $1 billion, you got the plane, you got the car, you got the vacation home, all that kind of stuff. And then what? Like, what's at your heart? So for you, right? What hits at your heart? Is it, children, hungry children? Is it, sex trafficking victims? Is it abused victims? Whatever it is, like we're trying to create a platform or space where people can come in and just look at causes beyond just the money. Money's great, and I'm chasing it just like everybody else is, but there's other purposes that I want people just to be able to think about. And so that would be the other thing. It's impactlegacy.com. So
Fantastic, man. What a way to serve your purpose on this earth. I will definitely make sure we put all those links in the show notes. Thank you for being kind enough to join us as one of the first handful of podcasts that you chose to get out on. I know there's some gems in here that we're going to be able to share for you, so we'll definitely tag you on socials. And I
appreciate that.
Thank you again for the time.
Yeah, Drew, I really appreciate it, man. Thanks for just allowing me on and let me share a little bit. And I really appreciate the time, dude. So thanks a lot.
Rock and roll. Well, listen, if you guys enjoyed the show, share it on social media. Tag me, tag Jason. Let the world know you invested your most valuable asset, your time, and you got some value out of it. And, maybe somebody who sucks at giving up control, and they need to hear this episode. Send it to them. You don't have to tell them they suck, or you don't have to call them out or nothing, but just hey, I heard this, thought of you, wanted to send it over. That's what this is all about. Spreading the movement, helping people get better, always pushing to find that next level and get dialed in on it. You guys know what to do. If you've got a story, you want to join us, head over to callthedamnleads.com/podcast. Send us all your details. Get signed up. While you're there, grab a hat, keychain, wristband, something to support the show. We'll see you guys next time. Go call the damn leads.
When the doubt gets loud, but answer that call. Vision ain't real till you grind that speed, so breathing deep. Then call the damn leads. Call the damn leads.